Thank you. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I don't want to talk about myself for 20 minutes, so I would love this to be interactive. But let me first ask, how much time do we have, just so I know I can keep track?
Oh, we have about like 45, 50 minutes as long as you want to keep it up to an hour the most. But
Okay, because I do have, I
it's
do.
very relaxed.
Okay, cool. I do have a meeting at 2:15, so I probably
Oh,
have
that's perfect.
okay. So my name is Peggy Menard. I am a large property, and I'll tell you what that means, but large property underwriter at a company called Sompo International. Um, the company is a global company, but for today's purposes, we're going to focus on kind of how I got to where I'm at, and we're going to focus on what my company does and how maybe you can join the insurance industry if you're interested. So the way I landed in the industry, actually, let me tell you first what my company does. So we're a global insurance company. We provide insurance solutions to several different kinds of clients. My specific department provides insurance solutions to real estate clients, hospitality clients, life sciences clients, technology. So like we just insured I think a year or two ago, we just wrote TikTok. You know, if you're familiar with TikTok, that's one of the accounts that we control. All the hotels that you may have stayed in before, some of the retail locations that you visit, whether you're going grocery shopping at an Aldi or you're at a Whole Foods. So we insure a lot of these different areas. In addition to that, we insure financial institutions as well. So all the banks that you probably bank with, is probably one of our clients. With that said, we provide property coverage, just protecting the building, making sure the buildings are in good shape, and providing insurance in the event of a loss. So with property, what has to happen is either a hurricane, an earthquake, tornado, hailstorm. Now there's so many different natural catastrophes that occur. So our jobs are getting a little bit more complicated, but we are providing insurance in the event of a loss. And then from a casualty perspective, it's basically the slip and the fall, right? You walk into a bank, you maybe there's water on the floor, hopefully there isn't, because if they know what they're doing they would not have water on the floor, and you might fall, and that's where my company would come in and we would pay that claim. That's just a quick snapshot. Billions of dollar company. A lot of traveling is involved. I travel pretty often for work. So let me just spend a few minutes telling you how I got to the industry. So when I was 17 years old, or yeah, about 17 years old, I was a senior in high school, and I got an opportunity if I had a certain GPA to work one week and go to school one week. And I saw that and I was like, who doesn't want to work and get some money, right? At the time, it was like, I couldn't really get all the things I wanted. My mom didn't have too much money. So I was like, I'm going to take the opportunity. I'm going to go to work one week and go to school one week. And I was an admin, just putting files away. And when I graduated, I went to John Jay College of Criminal Justice. I was really excited to be in that area because I come from a family of criminal justice majors. I have lieutenants in my family, police officers, etc. And I just want to follow in their footsteps. I majored in forensic psychology. Not sure if that major is still around. I hope it is. It was a really good curriculum. Um, but I majored in that and I thought it was amazing. And I had my heart set on just, doing whatever forensic psychologists do, right? It's like I don't even know what they do for the most part, right? I know you start off with social work and then you kind of escalate onto there. But I got a phone call from the company that I worked at back in 2002. And they were like, hey, you were so amazing putting those files away, I guess. We would love for you to come back. And I told them that I was at school full time in the daytime. I had no desire to work in the insurance industry and that I would stay put and I'm okay. But thanks for calling back. Thanks for the good feedback. A month after that, I got pregnant with my daughter. And that's when I realized that I probably need a job. And I called them back and I told them that I would take them up on their opportunity. So what I then did was I called John Jay, asked him if I could switch my next semester to be an evening student full time, and then I would just work full time in the day. So we did that. And I became an admin full time, working from 9 to 5, and then going to school in the evening from 6 to 9 p.m. And about a year after I had my daughter, I felt like I wanted more. I was still in school. I didn't graduate until she was about 3 years old, but I felt like I wanted more. So then I inquired about being a customer service rep, basically the person that's just rating up the policies. And I transitioned into that role. Then I wanted more. So my mind started getting hungrier and hungrier and hungrier. And after becoming a customer service rep, I wanted to become an underwriting associate. So that role is a person who basically assists the underwriter on their day-to-day responsibilities, and the underwriter is the person who puts together the insurance policy, basically for the client. And I wanted to be an underwriting associate, and then when I saw what the underwriter did, I was like, that's more of my personality, just hitting the streets, being outside, getting business, negotiating deals. So I spent about 5 years as an underwriting assistant, and then I transitioned to a full underwriting role. And then from then on, I just kept getting promoted, and finally in this managerial role, which I just want to say is really big because I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I just want to make it clear that my industry is a very predominantly white male driven industry. So when it comes to diversity and inclusion, equity, and all that, it is very important to me that we diversify the industry as much as possible, so that I can see people that look like me, so that I can feel like, maybe this is attainable for others, or maybe somebody younger than me sees me and they're new to the industry, and they feel like, wow, if she can do it, then I can do it. Like if she can be a boss or a manager in this world, I can as well. Because when I was coming up in the industry, there weren't that many people that looked like me, so it felt very unattainable to have this level of success. So I do a lot when it comes to that. And I know we didn't get to read my entire bio, which is fine because it's pretty long. But if you do take a look at the bio when you have time, you'll see that at the very bottom, I talk about the efforts that I do with when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Um, whether it's through my hiring, my recruiting, my retaining. I try my best to help employees stay, especially our diverse employees, because it's very few and far between that we have that. It's exciting to be part of organizations like NAAIA, which stands for National African American Insurance Association. They are basically a diversity professional organization for a bunch of African Americans in insurance, and it's beautiful to see. It's beautiful to be at a conference for 3 days and just witness, seeing super successful people that look just like you, that make you feel like you can do this too, and our allies are very important to us as well. There's a lot that we can't do if we didn't have allies as well. But that's a little bit about my way, into the industry. And I know it's completely different from the majors at John Jay College, but I did find a way. And there is always a transition, right? Like I work with a lot of lawyers, people who used to be lawyers who no longer want to practice law anymore, but now they're doing insurance law. So there's always some former forensics experts or former police officers are now here working in our investigations unit. So they find a way. There's a way that the industries can cross, and I'm happy I found that bridge as well.
That's great.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Do
quite
you
a
guys have
journey.
any questions?
Congrats. I mean,
Thank
the
you.
hard work.
Rachel, what year are you in?
Rachel, oh yes, hi. Thank
Hi, how are
thank you
you?
so much for your presentation, because I'm interested in joining the insurance industry. I
That's
have
amazing.
I have an insurance broker's license. Had a hard
Oh,
time getting in there. Very hard time getting into the industry. They want you to have experience. I don't have experience in with insurance, selling it or with claims. I have my bachelor's, and it
yeah.
has been challenging to get into the
I
industry
Yeah,
either
I'm
as
sure. I'm sure. So I want to talk to you. We can talk about this offline as well.
good.
Maybe you can send me your resume. That'll be great. But the,
Thank
the
you.
problem that we encounter is, and I hate this, and this is why I feel like I'm a different hiring manager. A lot of times it's like, nope, we don't want this person to join the industry, or they cannot join because they don't have the experience. So it's like, so how are they going to get the experience? You know what I'm saying, Rachel? Like, it
Yes.
takes one person to give you a chance, right? Before I became an underwriter, I didn't have underwriting experience, so
Yes.
somebody had to believe in me. And sometimes you have to watch people grow into a role. I firmly believe in that. So I would love to chat with you about this afterwards, so I can hear some of the struggles you've had and maybe see who I can connect you with within my network.
Thank you. Thank you very
No
much.
problem. No problem. Hi, Cynthia. Welcome. Hi, Susan. Cynthia, what year are you in? Hi. I see your note in the chat.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I'm on my way to work, but
Oh,
so
no
I'm a
problem
recent
at all.
graduate.
What year are you in?
I just graduated in June, actually.
Oh, cool. What are you doing, if you don't mind me asking, for work?
So I do bartend.
Okay.
Been bartending for a long time now. and I'm ready
Okay.
to move on.
Of course, of course. What was your major? What'd you graduate with?
Criminal justice.
Okay, awesome, awesome. I was just saying that I went to John Jay full time, but I'm in the insurance industry, because it is a great industry to be in, and there's ways that the curriculum can merge with the insurance industry. It's not two completely different separate industries, you know, like I may not be applying my forensic psychology learnings to my day-to-day job, but there are several departments that can offer criminal justice background folks and all that, or even something completely different if you're not necessarily, sometimes you major in something and that's not what you want to do, and that's okay. Some people don't think that's okay. They feel like a failure, but that's not a problem at all. I don't regret majoring in forensic psychology at all. I loved every single thing about my curriculum. You know, even if I'm not practicing it day to day, I loved every single thing about it. So I don't feel like I wasted my time or my money or anything.
That's good. Peggy, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, please ask me a lot of questions. I want this to be really interactive.
Underwriting, and one of the things, reason why I've been hesitant to even approach that aspect of insurance, because I'm concerned about the math. How does that work? What does that look like?
Yep. Yep.
Financial industries. These are all buildings that you deal with, or actually if they do merging with other companies,
So
or
all the above. Sometimes our companies acquire others, like JP Morgan Chase just acquired First Republic Bank, you know. So now indirectly somehow now First and Republic is one of our clients now, you know, because they got acquired by our bigger client.
so
So it is the building, it is the property of the client, whether it's Target, whether it's Best Buy, whether it's Marriott. We insure all the global Marriott programs, every single hotel, Hilton. So it is the properties. From the properties perspective, that's what we're looking at: the building, the shell, the contents that are in the property as well.
you sound okay. I have a what about disability? I have a mobility disability, and it sounds like you travel a lot. Do you have to go to these sites to observe, or they use
No,
software
no, you
like
don't.
drones and stuff like that?
No, you don't have to go. You don't have to travel. As an underwriter, you should travel more, but we do have underwriting technicians that also underwrite for the most part. They're just, I like to call them desk underwriters because they're not out in the field as much as we are. I just like to travel, so I take advantage of all the trips. You know, I was at the Seattle Seahawks Stadium for a meeting last week with a client, and it was cool to just be at the stadium. I would have never visited the stadium on my own, you know. So it was like work brought me to Seattle, you know, a place that I had never been. So I just enjoy taking advantage, but we have underwriters that are pretty much desk underwriters that do the work here for the most part.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. Really, really good questions. You sound like you know a little bit of something,
Thank
something, and you
you.
sound really interested. So I kind of want to
Yeah,
talk to you more definitely after this.
sure. Thank you.
It is, I will say, it is a very lucrative industry. If you stick around long enough, you'll see that. And if you make the right moves in your career, you will see that as well. Oftentimes people are taught to, put your head down, work really hard, and stay in one place. For example, when I was resigning, my first career was at this company called Chubb.
Mhm.
And I was there from the time that I was the intern till the time that I left in 2016. So I basically spent 16 years there.
Mhm.
I was comfortable. I was raised there. I was a young girl. They watched me grow. They've helped me. They've taught me. It was very hard for me to quit. And when I told my mom that I was resigning, she was like, "What is wrong with you? That's a good job. They take care of you. Why are you doing this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's still stuck in that old mentality where I was also stuck there, but I took a leap of faith and it worked out for me. So I don't recommend staying in one place too long. I give my younger siblings that same advice too. I tell them to find a way to you learn and you obviously be loyal, but there's comes a time where it's time to go. You've grown, and if you're not growing anymore in the company, it's time to grow outside of the company. So I'm very big on that after spending 16 years at one company. But I will say moving has increased my earning potential, right? So for somebody my age, I make really good money, but that's because I have made the right moves in my career to do that. I haven't stayed in one place. Typically, when you stay in one place for a long time, you tend to be underpaid, and that's just natural, right? Just like they promote you internally and you get a small jump, but if they hire somebody from outside, they get paid more than you. So you got to always think about that. External hires tend to get more of a higher pay.
Okay. Do you have any insurance designation?
I just have my broker license, my PNC license. I considered getting the CPCU, which is Chartered Property Casualty Underwriter. It's a really good designation. The time that I wanted it, I was younger. I wanted it for two reasons. I wanted it to help me increase my salary, and then the celebration was going to be in Hawaii that year. So I was like, I gotta make it to Hawaii, so because it's all expenses paid for. But I ended up not doing it. I started the first one, and then I just did not finish it up. I never finished it up, and then I kept getting promoted. So it was like I don't really need this anymore. But I do urge everyone, especially folks who have not been in the industry, to
Yeah.
get a designation. The companies usually take care of that too. It's not going to be out of your pocket. They pay for that. So that's another good thing, right? They pay for you to go to school, tuition reimbursement. So the rest of my time at Chubb, when I was there, they ended up paying for the rest of my years. Even though it was unrelated, they had paid for that at the time. I don't think they do that anymore. I think now your major has to be related to where you're working for them to give you that tuition reimbursement, but that was a sweet deal back then.
Mhm. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Do you have a resume that's ready to go or in shape, or do you have some work you need to do?
It's in shape. I'm working with someone now. I had to put some more information in there because I had a very long working history.
Yeah,
So I was my background's in compliance. And then I had to take a leave, and now I'm in health, but it's still like in office strategies. But I will send you my resume. I was interested in
yeah, please.
transportation, and the reason I asked you about the designation, I was wondering, would it help in that field as an underwriter, whether you were interested in like transportation or the marine cargo, stuff like that? Will those things help in that?
It can. We have an ocean marine department that's a few steps out of my office. We have a compliance department, so I would love to definitely just take a look at your resume and see where I think you would fit. You would fit well.
Mhm.
That's why these conversations are important. You just never know who you're gonna meet.
Yes. Can you put your email address down?
Yeah, I'll send it to you right now. Let me put it in the chat.
Yeah. I could send you. It's a rough draft.
There it goes.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. No problem at all. What's your major, Rachel?
I am in the, I was a communication theater major.
Okay.
And then in my master's, I'm in my MPA program for oversight. Because I did oversight when I was working at PD many years ago, and things have changed since I worked.
Okay. Okay.
But I always tell people, young people specifically, about the insurance industry,
Yeah.
because it's not just selling insurance. It's more than that. I mean,
Not
you
right.
can go into many fields. I have told my son about it. He
Yeah.
has, so if you are flexible, sometimes you cannot get into the field that you study for, but insurance will take you, and then you will find out there's
Exactly.
a little corner there where you could use the field.
Exactly. And I
Very
always tell people it's
versatile.
such a vast field. We had somebody
Yes.
who was a pilot. They were a pilot and they just didn't want to fly planes anymore, but now they're in underwriting in the aviation department, So there's a department for everyone.
Right. I mean, like there was a young lady talking about she is a bartender. She understands beverages, and that's
Yeah, that's an area too. Food and
yes,
beverage. Food and
yes,
beverage is big in the insurance industry, actually.
yes. So it's very. I wish I had numbers when I was younger. I would have definitely, But I tell everyone this is the industry to get into, and you can find your way.
Yeah. No, definitely the industry that you definitely can find your way. You can, if you stick with it and you meet the right people, you will get pulled up, because people will start talking about you when you're not in the room, like the
Right.
sponsorship.
Yeah, the networking is very
Sponsoring is
important.
everything, but the sponsors it's really where the real deal is, where people that are talking about you and tapping you for opportunities when you're not even there.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So that's different than networking. When you talk about sponsorship, is that similar to networking, or is that
No,
something?
it's basically similar. You
Okay.
can meet your sponsor via networking, just like you meet your mentor via networking. The only difference is the mentors speak to you directly, the sponsors speak about you when you're not around so that they can big you up to other people.
Now, how do you get to be noticed by that? How
You
is
just
that?
you have to keep networking, like I'm pretty sure I have sponsors that I don't even know are my sponsor, but I realize that I have sponsors when people reach out to me like, hey, I saw a job on LinkedIn that I thought you'd be great for, and I spoke to the other manager about you already. It just takes you having a conversation,
Mhm.
and this happens because of my network. So it's about networking. You network and you meet the right people. Sometimes you need to straight up ask people like, hey, can you be my mentor? Can you be my sponsor? And obviously, sponsor sounds financial, but it's not a financial thing at all. When it comes to sponsoring in your corporate career, it's really just people talking about you and
Mhm.
keeping your name present at the table when you're not around so that you can be tapped for opportunities. And that just comes from building a good network.
Mhm. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't want to hold up the conversation.
Oh, no, I like this. I like having a conversation because I don't just like to talk because you can lose people that way. I like to have a back and forth conversation. So I do appreciate the commentary. And look forward to definitely taking a look at your resume.
Thank you. I will say right now.
How often do you guys have these events? I guess maybe that's for Edwin to answer.
I try to have these once a month,
Nice.
um, from different folks, different industries, alumni, non-alumni. Keep it very, very diverse as possible when it comes to work-wise. I always try to tell students as much as you have to as well. You're not married toward the major itself. So just because you major in forensic psychology doesn't mean you have to go
Exactly.
in that specific field itself. And we have a
Right.
vast level of alumni so they could actually see and hear that, hey, look at, they're just as like you and they're doing great things in different industries and organizations. So I tend to try to have these as much as once a month.
Yeah. Once
Sometimes
a
it
month
goes
is
pretty
pretty good.
smooth, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, no, once a month is pretty good.
Yeah. If folks have any other questions, concerns, got a good 10 minutes left.
Yep. And if you don't have any more questions, that's fine. You guys have my email. You can always shoot me an email after the fact. Um, I'm happy I got to tell you guys a little bit about my industry. I feel like it's one of the best kept secrets, and people don't know much about the insurance industry. Or when they hear insurance, they think Geico, State Farm,
Mhm.
knocking on the doors, you know. So I'm very happy that I got the opportunity to speak to you guys today.
Yeah, I was glad that you jumped in because that's what folks think about when they
Yeah,
think about insurance. And it's such a broad field in itself.
yep, yep, yep.
And I'm glad the way you spelled it out and definitely brought out the positives in it. And especially, want to give folks a diverse background, which is great.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, thank you for having me.